anything else that was kind of striking out from that report that you're like, hey, this is a topic we should discuss?
So one of the things that I enjoyed in this report was the update at the end on the legal and policy factors. And the report did a great job, so I won't repeat what's in there. I'm going to encourage folks to read it. What I did find most interesting was what was missing. And in my mind, one of the biggest impacts from a legal and business and policy perspective on open source has been the rise of Amazon. Amazon has been in effect, a giant sucking sound in the open source world from a business model perspective. Because what they've been able to do with their Amazon Web Services, AWS, is monetize open source, but in a way where that monetization is not going back to the contributors of open source. So they're able to build this fabulous business on the backs of a lot of free labor that is not being compensated. And that has created innumerable challenges for companies that, more pure play software companies that have said, we want to create a software product for the world, and we want to use the open source mechanism, because that's for all the altruistic reasons and all the good engineering reasons and all the good societal reasons. But at the end of the day, that business still needs to be able to thrive and pay its engineers in order to do all those contributions. And Amazon has really sucked the life out of a lot of traditional open source business models.
Kind of glad that you mentioned that, because in the industry, a lot of discussions are going on, a lot of companies like Redis Lab, and there are many other companies who are trying to re-evaluate, they are trying to find solution to this problem via licenses. Licenses were supposed to be, okay, we all agree on, that's what GNU GPL or Free Software Foundation or OSI, what they did was came up with a standard license, so you don't have to worry about whether your code is compatible or not compatible, because early days everybody was writing their own free software open source licenses, and there are a lot of issues. But now the problem is that those licenses were designed in a time where we were talking about software industry, where software was distributed. Now in Amazon's case, or public cloud, you are not distributing anything at all. You are taking the code and running it as a service. So you are actually, unless only it's about AGPL, you don't have to worry about it, because you are not distributing anything. So you don't have to worry about giving anything back. Yes, you may want to contribute for the patches, but if there is already a very well-established community, you don't even have to go and do that. Do you think that this approach discouraging companies to kind of embrace open source as they were doing in the early days, freely knowing that if somebody takes the code, they will put it back?
So I think you have a number of questions in there, so let me maybe tease it apart. I don't think that, let me call it the Amazon effect, is completely squashing open source. I think open source is continuing to thrive. If you just look at the number of computing devices on the planet, and even the numbers in the synopsis report, open source is everywhere. And I think it will continue to thrive just because of the value provided by it. As you said, you're able to both contribute to the world and get contributions back. And, it helps all of us be better software programmers, even if we're also competing on a business sense. So I think, despite Amazon, open source is thriving. The real question is, could it thrive even more if we had a solution to the Amazon effect? And this is where, I do agree with you that the license model perhaps needs to be updated, because it was designed in a world where distribution was something. And in the world of the cloud, there is no more distribution in the traditional, legal sense. However, it's not clear to me that a license alone will solve this issue. And if you just think about Amazon from sort of core economic principles, they've been phenomenally successful with their AWS product. but they haven't been successful because the executives at Amazon sat around saying, "Hey, it's our lucky day. We're going to go steal a bunch of open source stuff." Amazon is actually pretty focused on delivering, services that their customers want. My own company, we're a tremendously large user of Amazon because they offer services that provide a lot of value to us. And so Amazon has done a great job of remaining squarely focused on saying, hey, how do I provide, a service that somebody wants? And that drive, if you will, is a lot more powerful than the license model itself. And so simply changing the license doesn't change the value prop of infrastructure as a service or platform as a service and so on. And so what we need is some new innovation from Amazon about how can you have the value of an AWS-like set of services, but still be able to share in those economics to everybody that is contributing to that value. And that is a hard problem to solve.